Yo, hi there everybody at YouTube. I am Michael Buckoff, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL iBT. And here we are. It's very simple. I'm talking a little bit about English grammar today in this live stream, and I'm focusing on two different kinds of grammar structures. One's called an appositive. The other is called a participial phrase. Now let me give you some background, then we'll get right into the lesson. With your TOEFL speaking and your TOEFL writing, you want to make sure that you're using a variety of grammar structures in both speaking and writing, which means you're not just using basic grammar. So this video is focusing more on advanced grammar structures to give you some ideas excuse me, on how you can combine some of your sentences to create more advanced structures. Right? Now, keeping that in mind, I have a lesson we're going to take a look at right now. And hopefully, you'll get some ideas on how you can use this in your own speaking and writing. That's the main thing. Okay, let's get rid of this. Okay, hold on a quick second. Okay, here we go. Make sure you guys can see this okay. Now, it's not going to be perfect, but as long as you can see what I'm doing, we're in pretty good shape. Okay, so let's talk about the first one here. So there's kind of a general principle with writing. Don't use a clause if you can use a phrase. Don't use phrases if you can use individual words. So if you reduce your clauses to phrases, your phrases into individual words, then you are more concise in your speaking and writing. Remember that a lot of students sometimes have tendency to be a little bit too wordy because they don't understand exactly how to use English grammar, and they don't have a great grasp of the English language and specifically vocabulary, so we sometimes tend to use too many unnecessary words. Alright, so let's take a look at sentence number 1 here. Now, first of all, I want to talk about how to use this. So if you need to study this a little bit more, you can go to Google and you can check out this particular structure. Okay, first of all, it says, John is a man of honesty, compassion, and authority. He will speak at a conference in San Bernardino. Right? So that would be the most basic way that you can express this sentence. Now, if you want to be less basic, you could say this. Right here. You have John, who is a man of honesty, compassion, and authority, will speak at a conference in San Bernardino. So here, I'm using, in this case, what's called an adjective clause. Right? But that's not the grammar I want to show you. Here's what I want to show you. This one. Now, instead of saying who is, you could do this. You could say a man of honesty, compassion, and authority. John will speak at a conference in San Bernardino. Now, in this case, we are now using what's called an appositive. An appositive is a noun phrase that's used to modify another noun phrase, in this case, the word John. Let me show you one other thing. Now let's say you take this idea one more time. You can also do this. Right? So you have number 4. John, a man of honesty, compassion, and authority, will speak at a conference in San Bernardino. Now, what am I trying to show you? Now, if you're doing TOEFL speaking, TOEFL writing, right? So this one, if you do a lot of your sentences like this, you're using shorter, simple type sentences like this, you're not going to be able to score as high as you would want. You will lose some points in language use. Why? Because you're demonstrating very simplistic grammar. You're not showing you know how to combine sentences, right? This one is a little better because you're saying, who is a man of compassion, honesty, and authority here. So the adjective clause is a little more advanced, but it's the last two that get you the most points. This is what I'm saying. So I encourage you, if possible, in your speaking and writing, instead of using adjective clauses or simple separate sentences, I encourage you to practice now getting comfortable with appositives like you see in this video. So you have that one. All right, let's take a look at another one here. We'll say number 5. So we have, yesterday at California State University's San Bernardino, I spoke to a professor. You have, she is a linguistics scholar from Scotland. Right? So what we want to do now is to reduce this particular, we want to combine the two sentences together. Okay, so how do we do this? So let's take a look. We have, I spoke to a professor. Of course, you could say this. Actually, let me create another sentence here so you can kind of see the original. So let's go ahead and copy this, and we'll go to number 6. So you say, yesterday at California State University, San Bernardino, I spoke to a professor, and then you could say here, who. You have, who is a linguistics scholar from Scotland. Notice, in this case, I'm not using a comma after professor because the adjective clause is necessary to identify the professor. Okay, let's go to number 7. So you could also say this. Yesterday at California State University, San Bernardino, I spoke to a professor. In this case, I'm going to now use an appositive. A linguistics scholar from Scotland. Now, what I'm saying is, this is probably, out of the 3 that you see, 5, 6, and 7, this one is the most advanced. This is probably the better sentence that you could use. Again, you took the adjective clause, or I'm taking the adjective clause here, and I'm reducing it to what's called an appositive. See that? So for you, with your TOEFL speaking and TOEFL writing, I want you to remember that appositives can be very useful grammar for you because you can say things with fewer words, so you can get more ideas in your writing or your... I'm going to say past and present participial phrases. And this, if you can use this and understand this, it's also helpful for both your TOEFL speaking and your TOEFL writing because, again, you're more concise when you communicate, and you're demonstrating that you know how to reduce your adjective clauses to phrases. You remember what I said in the beginning? I said, if you can use a phrase instead of a clause, that's great. If you can use individual words instead of phrases, even better. And we're focusing right now on how to reduce adjective clauses to phrases. Okay, so now we go to example number 8. Here, so we have, the building was built by architects from Europe. The Hindenburg Tower has more than 25 floors. You see this? Now what we have to do, there's different ways that you can do this, so let's go to number 9. I'll show you one way to do it. Okay, so maybe the next step is you want to combine these two sentences first of all. Again, to show some syntactic variety, which is a good thing, right? So maybe the first step would be this might be one way to do it. You might take this idea here. Let's cut it. And then we say this. The Hindenburg Tower, which is built by architects from Europe, has more than 25 floors. So this is one way to do it. But still, you're using the adjective clause, not the participial phrase. Now, here's the next thing. Now, once you want to reduce it to a participial phrase, ask yourself, does it have active or passive meaning? In this case, it says was built by, so we can understand the sentence as having passive meaning because of three things. Number one, the writer is using the word was, a form of the be verb. Then the writer uses built, the past participle form of build, and then the writer uses a by plus noun phrase, and that is the construction or formation of passive voice, right? Okay, now let's go to number 10. So we want to take this idea and let's go here. We have the Hindenburg Tower. Maybe we can start here. Instead of saying which was, we're going to do this. The Hindenburg Tower, built by architects from Europe, has more than 25 floors. Now, we have what's called a participial phrase with passive meaning. You see that? That's kind of what we have. And this one, I think, is better than the other examples because you're now showing that you have, it's a terrible color. You're showing that you have some pretty good grammar to be able to say it this way. Okay, now let's try one more. Okay, let's try this. Now I'm going to take the same idea, right? But I'm going to use what's called some syntactic variety. See, a lot of people, you're always using subject, verb, subject, verb, subject, verb. But if you want to change up that, you don't want to put your subject in the beginning, why not do this? Then you could say this, built by architects from Europe, comma, the Hindenburg Tower has more than 25 floors. This one is really the one you don't do all the time, but it really shows you have a very good understanding of syntactic variety. Notice the Hindenburg Tower, that's your subject. The verb is has, and then you have the participial phrase before the subject. So remember that these participial phrases and these appositives, they can be placed directly before or after the words they modify. Right? Okay, now let's take a look at what we call present participial phrases, right? Just take a look at this one. Remember that present participial phrases, it means the sentence has active. Active meaning. So we have here, the house consists of 25 bedrooms. We have the bedroom mansion has more than 25,000 square feet of living space. Now, if we take this idea, let's go to number 13 here and take this. And what we have to do is, whenever you make something into an adjective clause, typically you take what is the lesser idea or the support idea, you put that in the adjective clause. So here I think it is this. So I'm going to take this idea here and we'll put it directly after this subject, right? So the bedroom mansion, we will say which consists of 25 bedrooms, comma, has more than 25,000 square feet of living space. So that would be one way that you could take both of these sentences and combine them together, you know, to create a little bit more advanced grammar. However, this is not a participial phrase. Now, what I'm going to do now is to show you how to change the adjective clause into a participial phrase, which is, I think, very good for your TOEFL speaking and TOEFL writing, right? Now, here's a key. Once you get rid of the connector, ask yourself, there's actually one more way to do it. So, let's take a look at one more here. So I'm going to take this idea, I cut it, I'm going to put it in the beginning. Maybe every now and then you don't want to put your subject first, so you want to change the variety of your sentences. So you say consisting of 25 bedrooms, the bedroom mansion has more than 25,000 square feet of living space. Okay, let's color these. We're going to go ahead and look at them one more time, all of them. Okay, so that is it. That's what I wanted to talk about in this video, using appositives and participial phrases. So what I'm saying is sentence number 3, a man of honesty, compassion, and authority. John will speak at a conference in San Bernardino. This is a very nicely written sentence with good syntactic variety. You can also say, of course, John, a man of honesty, compassion, and authority, will speak at a conference in San Bernardino. So both of these are examples of using appositives, right? So we're taking the two separate sentences, combining them, and then we're reducing the adjective clause to what we have in these examples. Now, in addition, I gave you examples of how you can put an appositive maybe near the end. Remember, though, here's a key. Appositives and participial phrases, they need to be placed before or after the nouns they modify. If you don't follow that rule, you end up having what's called misplaced modifiers or dangling participles, which is not good for your speaking or your writing. So we say, yesterday at California State University, San Bernardino, I spoke to a professor, a linguistics scholar from Scotland. Now, normally we don't put a comma when we have additional information, but we have to put the comma here to separate this noun from that noun. Okay, and then in the last part of the video, I talked about present and past participial phrases. So here's some examples here. The Hindenburg Tower, built by architects from Europe, has more than 25 floors. Or, we had built by architects from Europe, the Hindenburg Tower has more than 25 floors. Those are two ways of using these participial phrases. And then finally, we have the bedroom mansion, consisting of 25 bedrooms, has more than 25,000 square feet of living space. Right? And then the next one is, consisting of 25 bedrooms, the bedroom mansion has more than 25,000 square feet of living space. So those are the two ways that you can express that idea. So you guys see what I'm talking about? And that's pretty much it. Alright, so I hope you guys at YouTube have found this useful. Remember that the main thing is that you want to make sure that you are using this type of grammar in both speaking and writing. That's the key. Alright, now at the conclusion of this video, I'm going to do some grading now. I'm actually going to grade some speaking practice tests for my students, and let's see how they do with their language use. Okay, let me go ahead and find it here. Give me a quick second. Okay, we have at least 2 speaking practice tests I need to grade today. Alright, so let's take a look at those. Okay, here we go. So we have one from Shrikant. I'm going to go ahead and grade his right now. And I know that you're watching the video, buddy. Yeah, I apologize. I couldn't answer this morning your call. I was just going into the building here. So here's what you say. I would prefer to live in a modern house which have the latest technology and privacy. First of all, I would prefer for staying in a modern house because of the latest technology. For example, the building which I'm staying right now was a duplex who was planned by a traditional architect. But you're not really giving an example of the technology, right? Let me show you what I'm talking about here. Give me a quick second. So, let's go over here for a minute. So if you're doing this one, you say, I would prefer to live in a modern house which, and subject verb agreement is, which has the latest technology and privacy. Right, so these are your 2 points. Say, first of all, I would prefer, I would say here, not for, but to stay in a modern house because of the latest technology. For example, the building which I'm staying in right now was a duplex. You want to say which was planned by, but the problem is the example doesn't give any example about latest technology. Let's say, you can say, for example, modern homes you might say, so you say maybe, for example, modern homes have technology such as solar panels and double pane windows to help keep the cost of operating the house down. You say, second of all, I would prefer, instead of to stay, you might say, to live in a modern house because of you say privacy. I'm going to say the extra security features. I wouldn't say privacy. I would say extra security features. That's the better word that you want to use here. So you say, for instance, the house which I'm living in has security alarm technology, and just say so that whenever a door is open So you might say something like that. You say, as a result, I would prefer to stay in a modern house because of the above reasons. All right, those are some of the changes I would make in it so that you get a higher score. Now, how long does it take me to read all this? Let's see how long it takes here. I'm going to go ahead and time it. Hold on a minute. All right, let's look at the changes that I made here. Give me a quick second. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and time, see how long it takes me to say this. So you can see the changes that I made in your speaking right here. I would prefer to live in a modern house which has the latest technology in. Now I got to change it. Wait a minute. I got to say security here. Okay, let's start over. I would prefer to live in a modern house which has the latest technology and security. First of all, I would prefer to stay in a modern house because of the latest technology. For example, modern homes have technologies such as solar panels and double pane windows to help keep the cost of operating the house down. Second of all, I would prefer to live in a modern house because of the extra security features. For instance, the house which I'm living in has security alarm technology so that whenever a door is opened, a voice will broadcast that the door is ajar. In addition, an alarm will go off if an intruder breaks into my home at night. As a result, I would prefer to stay in a modern house because of the above reasons. There it is. So that took 42 seconds, right? Now, let's go back to your speaking. Let's take a look at how you answered this question. Okay, give me a quick second. Okay, here we go. So let's go back and listen to what you said. You ready?
I would prefer to live in a modern house which has the latest technology and privacy. First of all, I would prefer for staying in a modern house because of the latest technology. For example, the building which I am staying right now was a duplex house who was planned by the traditional architect. Second of all, I would prefer for staying in a modern house because of the privacy. For instance, the house which I am living have security alarm technology. Conversely, like whenever the door is opened in the building, that will mention us with the voice recognition. As a result, I would prefer for staying in a modern house to the above reasons.
Okay, so let me go ahead and give you comments here. Yeah, hi there. These comments are for Srikanth. I just listened to your independent speaking practice test, so I made some changes. So there were some problems with one of the examples you gave. It really did not fit what you were trying to illustrate in that particular part of your response. All right, so that brought down your score. You also had some language use issues in there, also some delivery issues. Now the question is, what will your essay score and why, right? So that's what I want to figure out right now. Give me a quick second here. All right, let's look at it now. I'm going to go over to the rubrics here. Okay, so So independent speaking task. Figure it out right now. Yeah, the practice test that you just gave here, I'm putting you below 2, so you're having a lot of language use issues, even topic development issues, which means sometimes what you're saying doesn't connect back to something that you've already said, so that's a problem. You had some delivery issues with your pronunciation, so I'm going to put you at 1.83 out of 4, 14 points out of 30 on this. So you see what I'm saying? So your question is, how long does it take me? I want to get over 100 on the TOEFL exam. You're not going to get over 100 until your speaking skills are being scored around 25. You need to get 11 points higher on these speaking tasks, because if you get 11 points higher, guess what? Everything's going to be better on your TOEFL, because if your speaking is good, it means you have good grammar, good vocabulary, you know how to organize and develop your ideas, you're speaking very clearly. Now that means that probably your writing is getting better, and you'll probably even do better in the reading and the listening areas as you advance your academic English language proficiency. So your score here is 1.83 out of 4, 14 points out of 30 on this particular practice test. And I don't know how long that's going to take you. I cannot say. You know, I don't know. It takes a few months to work out these kinds of issues. Remember that for you, it isn't just a speaking issue. You need better vocabulary, because if you have better vocabulary, you would use the word security instead of privacy, or you would use more accurate, more precise words to explain your ideas if your vocabulary were higher. But it's not high enough. Not high enough for TOEFL anyway. Alright? So let's move ahead. I'm going to go to the next one here. Okay, let's go to the next one here. We have one more person I need to listen to today, so and this is Philip. So he's answering the question, do you think children should be given cell phones? I'm going to talk to him. Yeah, hi there, Philip, and this is Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL iBT. Now, the question here is, do you think children should be given cell phones? Why or why not? So you say,
I think children should be given cell phones for a couple of reasons. First of all, since we are living...
I don't like that for a couple of reasons thing. Everybody does that. That's a memorized, contrived response. 100, 1,000 other people begin their independent task exactly the same way. And guess what? It's not really focusing your speaking very much. So you need to move away from memorized templates, Philip. So what can you do? Go to speaking lesson number 2. I'll give you some ideas on how you can try different ways of approaching the independent task. But the way that you did it is not very predictable. I mean, it's too predictable.
In the digital world, and we can contact our children anytime. For example, if anything goes wrong in their classrooms, and if they want to contact parents, or parents needs to contact...
Now, when you say the word parents, you need to pronounce that P with a lot more air. Parents. Parents.
them, they can do that. In addition, during class time, children may contact the teacher, or if they have some questions, they can do all the correspondence through the cell phones. So for those reasons, children should be given cell phones.
Yeah, I think that you need a little bit better structure beginning with your topic statement. So your topic statement can include maybe your 2 support points, then you restate those in the body of your response, then you include your supporting examples, and that would help organize your ideas a little bit better. All right, Philip, so what do we got? Let's look at your score here. I don't know, let's see what we have here. I think overall you have a pretty good structure. For the most part, you're organizing your ideas, you're giving some examples, you have pretty good control of your language use, but still, I think you need to make some improvements. I'm going to put you at 2.5 out of 4, 19 points out of 30 on this particular practice test. And also with delivery, you're having some problems, some pauses, hesitations, kind of some unnatural kind of ways of pronouncing certain things, which make it hard to understand what you're saying, right? So I'm going to put you at 2.5 out of 4, 19 points out of 30 on this practice test. Okay, I think I'm almost done here. I got to go to class here in about an hour or so. Let me double check. See if there's anything else I need to do. If you only talk to one more person here, this guy just... Okay, I think we're good there. Okay, I think I'm finished. All right. Thank you, everybody at YouTube, for watching. So let me just recap what we did here in this video. In the beginning of the video, I had a short grammar lesson on how students can reduce adjective clauses to adjective phrases using either appositives or participial phrases. I explained that using these appositives and participial phrases are important because it helps make your speaking and writing more concise in the TOEFL, and it also shows you have better and more advanced grammar knowledge, and these are good things for you and for your speaking and writing score. After I had the lesson, I actually did some grading. I graded some speaking practice tests from my students. Alright, so if you're serious, look at me here. If you're serious about improving your TOEFL score, right? You want to get a high score. Now, I'm not going to say you can do it in 30 days, but my website will help you to improve your academic English language abilities. And guess what? If you do join my course, you have a space online. You can do pronunciation, speaking, and writing practice. You can send it to me, and guess what? I'll listen to it. I'll give you some feedback. I will help you improve your academic English language abilities. It sounds hard to believe, doesn't it? That there's a website that does all of this. But my website, OnlineTOEFLcourse.com, it does exactly all these things and much more.